And good morning, everybody. Welcome, Hot Takes Goodman and Haertl. Bruce, you got a big smile on your face. How are you? Good day today already?
I am good. The Mariners, from my mom, continue to play incredible baseball. Catcher Cal Raleigh now home runs 59 and 60 last night.
That's unbelievable.
Just absolutely incredible with, 4 more games still to play. And so, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about the Red Sox won again last night. So I'm feeling pretty good about them. I'm looking forward to the baseball playoffs. I know that's not something that a lot of people echo all the time, but as a baseball guy, love postseason baseball. Love baseball anytime, but postseason baseball really gets me going.
Well, nobody around here says I'm looking forward to playoff baseball.
No, and it may be a while before we hear that refrain.
Well, Dick Monfort did say his goal was to make the playoffs twice out of every 5 years. When they make the playoffs last, 2018?
Yep.
It's just a 7-year drought.
That's right. My concern about the Rockies is that they, first of all, won't totally clean house. That's my biggest concern.
Okay.
Then even if they do clean house, that they're at least 4 years probably from being competitive, relevant.
Yeah.
Another 4 years after we've been, sitting here for the last 7 years waiting for that youth movement to finally take hold. It just doesn't work at 20th and Blake.
If they do bring out the broom, do you think it'll happen day after the season?
I don't know why it wouldn't. But I don't know, Eric. I've been around, been around Dick Monfort for 10 years. Yeah. You've been around him for longer. Do you think he has it in him to take the broom out and say, okay, out we all go. We're going to start from scratch? I don't know if he does.
I think Walker does.
Good. Then that's the hope.
Yeah.
That's the hope.
If
he can sit there across the table and say, look, Dad, this is what we've got to do better than what we've done.
I've talked to enough people that know him, and I've been told he's a really nice. Both those, from everything I've been told, Dick Monfort has raised 2 really smart boys.
Yeah, highly thought of.
I don't mean by boys like they're 13, but really well put together. And it's not to say that Dick isn't himself. It isn't a nice guy. It's just he certainly knows how to build McGregor Square. He's very good at a lot of things.
Sure.
But I'll tell you right now, he's basically leading the owners in discussions on a lot of different things right now.
Yeah.
And
he's pretty hawkish too. He's to the right extreme on salary cap and things of that nature, which is just not going to work in Major League Baseball. So here's the problem for me on this is I think that he is going to further isolate himself as an owner by taking the hardcore stand on salary cap. And
what do you mean by isolate himself from whom?
Well, I just don't think.
I think all the owners would love a salary cap.
I think all the owners would love to have a salary cap, but
who's he isolating himself?
But I think he's the one that will be out there leading the charge and fighting the fight. I don't think it will be others. Part of the problem with Colorado is it's not a good destination for baseball players.
Here's the funny thing. Dick Monfort, and rightfully so, has taken a lot of punches from the Denver media. And rightfully so. He has earned every uppercut. He has earned every body blow. So at this point, I think he is so calloused, he doesn't give a shit who swings at him. He's taken everybody's best punch.
Yeah.
So at this point, okay, well, hit me again. It's fine.
That's fine. But I'll circle back around. If the goal is to make your franchise better, and people talk about players.
Yeah.
You know what people need to start talking about first? Administrators. You better start talking about getting good people in to run a baseball team before you talk about getting good personnel to play the game. You better have good personnel to administer the game, and that's where they are at this point.
Here's the irony about Dick Monfort, who will be fighting for a salary cap. Salary cap won't help him and his team one bit.
No.
He is fighting for something that is going to help everyone else, with the exception of him, which makes it so rich that he's the one doing it. Because even if there was a salary cap, that has nothing to do with drafting and developing.
No, nothing at all.
Right.
And therein lies my point. It's a double layer now for the Rockies, administrative, and then down to your competitive level with your players and stuff. And they've got to do an exponentially better job in both areas for them to even be relevant. On top of everything else, they happen to be playing in one of the best and most competitive divisions in all of baseball. So, I mean, things change, but they're a long way. They're a long ways away.
I think it's human nature for a lot of people, specifically wealthy people, okay? When they decide to take on a role that a lot of people may not want, they might have a motive behind it, right? Maybe if I negotiate it, I'm going to negotiate on behalf of everybody else, but it's going to slant towards what benefits me.
Sure.
For sure.
I think that's natural.
Ironically, everything he's negotiating for isn't going to help him one bit. That to me is irony. That he's negotiating for a salary cap, that's not going to help him at all.
Right.
All right. Anyway, I want to tell you about a roller auction. They always have great auctions going on, the leader in Colorado auctions. For over 45 years today, Planet Open Box is having an auction for factory return electronics, furniture, exercise equipment, and more. Online bidding has started at rollerauction.com. And don't forget to go to rollerauction.com to learn about great upcoming auctions. Get what you want at the price you want today at Roller Auction. Time now for the lead.
The lead is presented by Smokin' Dave's Barbecue. It is not just the best barbecue in town, it is one of the best restaurants in town. You can find Smokin' Dave's Barbecue off 36th and Pecos.
First, let's dive into the Broncos. And we touched on this yesterday a little bit, but I want to be a little bit more specific. What I'm about to say is not going to be news to anyone, but I think it's worth addressing. There are 6 teams in the NFL that are 3-0 right now to start the season. Chargers and the Colts are 2 of them. After the Bengals, they get the Eagles, who are unbeaten at 3-0. And I know the Bengals don't have Joe Burrow right now, but their record is still 2-1. Should we cut the Broncos a little bit of slack, considering that they have played record-wise 2 of the top 6 teams in the NFL right now?
No, because it's not about the other teams. It's about who you are and what you're doing. The Broncos have not sustained any kind of consistency through the first 3 games of the season. This is all about getting them on the right track to being the type of team that I think that we can be, that we think they can be, and that I think that they think they can be. Sean Payton keeps saying, we think we're a good team too. Yep. They're not there yet. I have always said, and I know that you probably get tired of it, but I will repeat it again. The difference in this league between the best teams and the worst teams is always slim. The NFL, it's just tight. Cortland Sutton said it the other day. You could be playing in week 15 against a team, or week 16 against a team that's 2-13, and you can get your ass kicked if you're not ready to play. Hold on. I know what you're going to say.
I was just breathing.
Yeah, I know you were. Breathe in, breathe out.
Wax
so
on.
Yes, very nice. So
paint fence.
So my deal is this: you've got to play well on some level of what well is. You've got to play well every week to be successful in this league. The Broncos haven't gotten there. does it matter that they're playing the Chargers or the Colts or in next week the Eagles? Of course it does. When you're playing better football teams, that means you have to play better football against better football teams.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still about what the Broncos have got to be doing. If the Broncos gain consistency, they play cleanly, they're not committing penalties, not losing the turnover battle. Those are all goals that they need to continue to try to attain. Then you are a football team that has a chance to win every single week, period. They haven't done it.
I'm going to give a little pushback on, because I hear this all the time. Wow, the margins are so close between all the teams. Did I hear you correctly that you said that?
Yes. Well, winning in the NFL is about winning in the margins, period.
I understand that. I don't think it's as close as people believe. Okay. Actually, I think there is a gap. Now, the reason why people say that the margins are close is because it's any given Sunday, right? Mm-hmm. Any team can beat any other team. If it was, when people say it's tight, right? This is why I disagree. I understand that if okay, you think the margins are close between, say, the Eagles and the Browns?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, if
wait a minute. No,
if we got into them,
that's my point. And that's my point. The Browns can't listen. The Browns just beat the Packers. Let's use that as our example.
Sure.
So the argument is the margins are close because, look, the Browns beat the Packers, right? Any given Sunday. To me, margins are based on, and I understand what can happen on any given Sunday, but the margins in terms of how close teams are, this is my metric, the Eric metric, which isn't anybody's metric. My metric is if you play 10 times, how many games do you win?
Okay.
If the Packers play the Browns 10 times, the Packers win a minimum of 8 times. That's not a tight margin. Not at all. If the Eagles play the Jets, the Eagles win 8 or 9 times. That's not a close margin. It's not as close as people think. But because it's an any given Sunday thing and you only get a chance to play one time, then the narrative is, well, it's closer than people think. It is not closer than people think. Well, you only get one crack at it. When you look at baseball and you play a 3-game series, if one team wins 2 games and then they do another 3-game series and the team that won 2 games wins another 2 games, they've won what? What's the math on that?
4 out of 6.
That's 4 out of 6. So what is that? They win 60, 70% of the time?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't sound like a close margin to me.
Yeah. Well, I respectfully disagree. And here's where the margins, I think, become more interesting for me and tighter. What do we talk about in this league? Every week is its own script. Every week is its own story. And it is its own story because teams come in with different levels of strength and what they do well, which forces you to prepare for that and against that, just as the things that you bring make the other team have to prepare differently. You have 3 distinct phases of football, 2 of them that really drive the engine in offense and defense. What do those, and then within those phases, you've got running game, short passing game, deep passing game, how much movement. There's lots of challenges that a football team has to deal with in the week leading up to playing another team. I think that's the challenge in the NFL. And I'll use the Bengals as a really good example. And it's silly, but there are people talking about, well, the Bengals are just this awful football team because Minnesota thumped them last week and it was the worst loss in history. You know damn good and well, this is Jake Browning's 2nd week now, making a start for Joe Burrow. No, they're not the same team without Joe Burrow. Duh, we understand that. But anyone that doesn't think that the Bengals won't be much better this week against the Broncos than they were against Minnesota. And not just because they're playing the Broncos, right? They're still on the road against a good football team is absolutely crazy. The Bengals will be better. They'll be better because they'll have had another full week of reps for Jake Browning. He will be better in the offense, and the Bengals, the dust will settle around them, and they will be much more competitive. Do I think that the Broncos will beat the Bengals? Yes, I do. I think that they're a better football team, especially without Joe Burrow. But don't think that the Bengals are going to come in and drop a 38-point decision to the Broncos. Nothing carries over from week to week in this league. You start anew every single week.
Okay. Are the margins small between the Broncos and the Bengals going into this game on Monday?
They shouldn't be. They shouldn't be, but they will be far tighter than they were in the ball game between the Bengals and the Vikings, in my opinion.
I'm going by the narrative that you put out there, like everybody else.
Well, I don't know.
Margins are small in the NFL.
I don't know. I think I don't want to put words in your mouth. I think you're talking about defined margins. I'm talking about margins that we don't know about. I'm talking about, I'm talking about turnovers, tipped passes, fumbles. I'm talking about
I understand things
muffed
can happen.
punts, things like that. I'm talking about the things that make games competitive or one-sided during the course of a game, inevitably.
But Bruce, all I'm getting at is, because I'll keep picking this scab, because I know I'm on my own island. Narrative is the margins are small in the NFL, meaning the top team and the bottom team, there's not that much of a difference.
Yeah, I think that's proven pretty regularly in this league.
Okay.
I feel that way.
So are the margins small for the Broncos and the Bengals? Forget about what happened with the Bengals last week. Are the margins small in this game?
I think the Broncos. I think
they're not even close. They're a world away.
Well, yeah, but you're defining margins as something rather that's already. I mean, are you taking into account any of the X factors that happened during the game?
Listen. When the game plays out, the game plays out. When the game's over, you never get a crack at that team again.
Yeah.
Okay. With that, when you look at these two teams, the Broncos are right now, when they play the Bengals, they are the superior team in almost every facet of the game outside of wide receiver. The Broncos are better everywhere, including coaching, over the Bengals, with the exception of wide receiver. Can the Bengals win the game? Of course they can, any given Monday. But again, I will ask you, if these two teams play 10 times, the Broncos win 8 or 9 of them. That's not a close margin.
Yeah, I don't think I'd go 8 or 9. But
there's nothing close about it.
I mean, is Joe Burrow that much of a difference then? Because they lost last year in Cincinnati.
I understand that. I'm saying this Bengals team currently constructed right now, are the margins small? Fuck no, they're not small. Well, there's nothing small about it.
Well, we'll agree to disagree. I think teams can win any week.
I understand
in this league,
Bruce. I understand you can win any given Sunday. Who's the better team over 10 games? I know it's not played out that way. Who's the better team over 10 games? It's not close. So no, the margins aren't small at all. Listen, if there's a 1-game playoff between the Rockies and the Dodgers today, Rockies have a chance. I don't like their chances, but they have a chance. So if they won that game, are you going to say after, with the Rockies now going to the playoffs, a 1-game playoff? You know what I mean by that, playing game or whatever. Does that mean the Rockies are better than the Dodgers? Of course they're not.
No.
But they happen to win that game.
Yeah.
So now we're saying, well, the margins are small. No, they're not. They just had a good day and the other team had a bad day. That doesn't mean the margins are small just because you had a good day and the other team didn't.
Okay, fair enough, but I disagree with you.
Okay.
That's all.
With coming up after the break, a lot of people are looking at this 1-2 record and saying, uh-oh. And I've even said, if they lose this game against the Bengals, they're cooked. I believe they are, because I don't think that they're going to beat the Eagles. And I don't know if too many teams have started 1-4 that made the playoffs. But the truth is, if they do win this game, it could be clear skies ahead. That's next. Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. Don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corn bake. Man, you got to try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Ferguson's Heating and Cooling is the best in Denver, and their customers agree. Ferguson's has 165 5-star Google reviews, and here's one from Betsy. Highly professional, prompt, and honest. I switched to Ferguson's when I became aware my former company was trying to sell me a whole new system I didn't need. Ferguson's is an honest, working, family-owned business that'll give you a fair price, the highest quality parts and equipment, and they always show up on time. You can trust the Ferguson family like you trust your own family. Go to fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
Spice up your next night out at Nola Jane and Lodo. Authentic Cajun cuisine like andouille sausage gumbo with dirty rice, crawfish etouffee, as well as 6 different po' boys like soft-shell crab and shrimp. Come in before or after a game at Ball Arena. Host a party or party on their rooftop deck overlooking Market Street during happy hour from 11 a.m. to 5. Plus, Nola Jane caters, delivers, and the kitchen is open late night. Make Nola Jane your new favorite spot to eat, drink, and party like it's Mardi Gras.
Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk have another incredible promotion. They'll be giving away a Ford Maverick Tremor truck or over $25,000 in cash the weekend of October 24th. Daily cash drawings are every 45 minutes between 10 a.m. and midnight. Players can earn daily entries with every locked-up jackpot or by redeeming players' points on their players' cards. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos, loose slots, phenomenal promotions, great food, and a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch in the DTC. Both locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook is a hangout bar or great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, the DTC, and coming soon to Parker. They are the sports bar.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
And welcome back. Hot Takes Goodman and Haertl. If you are going to the Broncos game on Monday, it's going to be hard to put together a tailgate because you're probably working all day. Then you want to get to the game. You know, when you tailgate on a Sunday, you're preparing on Saturday. And then you're going to have some time to prepare on Sunday to make it a great tailgate. But for Monday, could be a little bit different. So my suggestion is when you do a tailgate, do it by going to Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew is off of 36th and Pecos. It's no more than a 10 to 15-minute drive to get there. So if you're going to tailgate, tell me how this sounds to you. If you're going to have it, full rack of St. Louis ribs, whole chicken, half pound of pulled pork, half pound of beef brisket, 4 large sides, 6 things of cornbread. That's 5 to 7 people you can serve without having to even walk in your kitchen. You're right around the corner from Smokin' Dave's. So make your tailgate Smokin' Dave's this Monday night if that's what you are planning on doing. Again, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. You can find them off of 36th and Pecos. Time now for What's Trending.
What's Trending is presented by Ferguson's Heating and Cooling. Your family should trust the Ferguson family for all your heating and cooling needs, and you'll see why they have over 165 5-star Google reviews. Make an appointment today at fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
I want to look ahead at the Broncos schedule. I don't want to make it win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. That's something that you and I just don't do. But I have said I think if they lose to the Bengals, they're cooked. They're done. They're going to be 1-4 because I don't think they're going to go to Philadelphia and win. So 1-4, you're thinking, but look at the schedule they have coming up. And we will talk about that in a minute. But if they are 1-4, do you really think they're going to go 9-2 the rest of the way? I don't think that they are. I think they're good. I think they can be very good, but I don't see 9-2 in their future. However, let's look at that schedule just for fun. Okay? They got the Bengals minus Joe Burrow on Monday. They got the Eagles. Then they have the winless Jets, the winless Giants, the Cowboys who won't have CeeDee Lamb, and then they play the winless Texans. This team, you said 5-3, is that right?
I did say 5-3, right?
It could very easily be what?
6-3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very easily.
Yeah, it's funny how things look when schedules come out, and this is one reason you and I really resist talking about it, because we don't know who the hell's going to be good, bad, or indifferent, right? We don't know these things. The Broncos have had a challenging start to the season, but you can see some dust settling now as we start to define who some of these teams are. Sean Payton talks about it a lot. You got to get to the quarter pole before you know anything about your team. Well, that also means before other coaches know about their teams. But yes, you can make a pretty good argument right now without blushing that the could be 5-3, 6-3, really, if they just take care of their business.
Right. That's why I think the Bengals game on Monday is a tipping point game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it really, really is.
I agree.
You lose it, I think you're done. You win it, yeah, so what? You lose to the Eagles. That's 3 losses. I get it. But then look at everything that is coming up on your schedule. And if you are a good team, then you should win those games. The Broncos should be 3-0 right now.
Yes.
They really should be. And it's ironic that they should be 3-0, but because they lost their last 2 games, they've allowed other teams, the Colts and the Chargers, to become 3-0. With that, there is a stat called a havoc stat in the NFL. Measures the percentage of plays a defense gets pressure. Some of those things: tackle for loss, forced fumble, interception, pass breakup. The Broncos are second in the league at 46.5%. Meanwhile, Jonathan Cooper and Nick Bonito are 4th and 5th, respectively, in win, rush, pass rate. I know that's a lot of numbers to digest, but what that tells you is the Broncos defense has been incredibly good this year, according to those stats, right? So how much hope does that give you moving forward? If this continues, they clean up those mistakes and the offense just gets a little bit better.
Yeah, they've got to get better against the run. Those stats relate to quarterback pressures. We know this team is good on the edges. We know they're pretty good up the middle. I mean, Zach Allen gets to quarterbacks. John Franklin Myers can create pressure up the middle. Malcolm Roach, when he comes back, can create pressure up the middle. That's not the issue. The issue is, can you consistently stop running games for them? And we don't have a real clear answer on that yet, but we're working towards it. But to your point, yeah, I mean, you've got some pretty good measurables already. And that's part of, the process of learning to be a good football team. We've talked about it. Good football teams don't lose the types of games, even against other really good football teams. You figure out ways to win when you lead in the fourth quarter, period, whether you're on the road or not.
Well, think about it. They've had those leads. Yeah. They've never trailed for 1 second in the fourth quarter over the last 2 games.
Right.
So when you talk about complementary football, if the Broncos can find a way to hold a 2-score lead midway through the third quarter with those havoc stats, they shouldn't lose anything. That's they need the offense to build leads. And then that perfectly complements that havoc stat.
I just want to see good footwork from Bo Nix. If I could have one thing from Bo Nix this weekend, one definite thing, good footwork. I want to see his feet in the right place when he's throwing the football.
For a guy who came into the league as an older player, played for 15 different colleges.
Two, but two pretty damn good ones. I mean, we'll give him that, right?
Why are we talking about his footwork this late into his football career? Now, I understand he's in his second year, but how old is he?
Yeah.
25?
I don't know if he's 25 yet or not.
24?
I think he probably 24, 25.
Keep going.
But I think he gets sped up a little bit in some situations, and
he's 25.
Yeah, there you go. So he's 25 years old, making his 18 and 3, 21, making his 22nd start as an NFL quarterback on Monday night. So, I mean, he's still relatively young in the process. He
is a young player in the NFL, but he is not a young player.
In terms of experience, right.
Well, but he has experience from college too.
But in terms of how many starts this guy has made at high levels of football, right. I'm not going to argue that. Right. He is an experienced guy. I just I don't know this, just based on watching it and then rewatching it. When his feet are right, he's right. Period. I mean, when his feet are right, he's right. I don't think the spacing was right on the flea flicker. I don't think the timing was right on the flea flicker. It was a 3rd and long, and he moved up in the pocket, which I know Sean Payton wants him to do, climb the ladder in the pocket. It's a little bit different in the pocket when it's a flea flicker, because you've got a running back that probably didn't get as deep as they wanted him to get deep before he got the ball back to him. And he was still moving up the pocket, didn't get his feet set. And he didn't get his feet set on the Cortland Sutton throw later on in the game. I mean, if I can just correct that, if I can just be guaranteed that he's going to be calmer in the pocket, and that's not to say that he's not calm in the pocket. Most of the time he is calm in the pocket, but every now and then, he speeds up just a little bit, and I think it hurts him. So slow that down a little bit. The rest of it should take care of itself. And I'm with you, Eric. There's a reason they're 7.5-point favorites at home. The expectation is, and I think the expectation, rightfully so, is that if the Broncos come out and play well, they will win this football game in an NFL way, as relatively easy as you can in the NFL.
I just find it curious that a guy who's 25 years old needs to work on his footwork.
I don't think he needs to work on his footwork all the time. I just think if you just look and you say, hey, quieter feet in those situations. Like I said, he doesn't do it all the time. I wouldn't look at Bo Nix and say that he's got an issue. He just did on at least 2 of those 3 throws.
I want you to think about something for a second. When it comes to the offensive line pass blocking, they're the best in the league, statistically. They're the best in the league. So wouldn't you think that would easily translate to Bo Nix having all kinds of time to throw the ball, because that's what it is.
Well,
wait.
Well, he gets the ball out quickly still. He's still a guy that gets the ball out quickly.
He does. And I would agree with you, guys like Peyton Manning and Dan Marino with quick releases.
Right.
So, but he doesn't have that type of quick release. Not like those guys.
He's pretty quick though. But the throws we're talking about is when he has more time in his process. I don't put anything on the offensive line. They're doing their job, in my opinion.
Right.
I think they're doing their job. They're starting to do their job more consistently in the run game.
Right.
I'm going to repeat what I said very early in the season. If the Broncos continue to be, right now they're eighth, they have the eighth most productive rushing attack in the NFL. Now, you can question that by saying, yeah, but when are they getting those runs?
Yeah.
Because two of those games have been skewed by explosive runs, both in the Tennessee game and in the Chargers game, right? You had a 41-yard run to open the second half. You had a 19-yard run that a lot of people mistook as a touchdown pass, but that was a lateral. That was a run for J.K. Dobbins. So you had 41 and 19 on 2 plays. So that skews the numbers a little bit. I think if the Broncos can be a consistent running team, imposing their will, they become a huge problem for anyone that they're playing, because I do think that Bo Nix will settle back into his rhythm. Look, he played well for 3 quarters against on the road in Indianapolis. He had a top 10 throwing day in the NFL amongst quarterbacks. He wasn't good in week 1. He wasn't good in week 3. We need to see more consistency.
Is a young player, when we use the term young player, is a young player young by the calendar, or is a young player young based on experience in that league?
Experience in the league.
Okay. Because
repetitions and experience in the league, understanding of the offense, ability to run the offense.
So it's experience. Okay.
I think so.
Nathan MacKinnon is 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Think about this for a second. He is going into his 13th season. Bo Nix is only 5 years younger,
right,
and he's in his second.
Isn't that something? It's remarkable.
It is.
It is.
So when people kept saying about Nathan MacKinnon, he's only 23 years old. He'd been playing in the league roughly 5 years at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nate is still probably one of the most spry veterans I've ever seen. You talk about a guy that you'd pay to go see play every night just to see the burst of speed that he generates and the puck control that he has at high speeds. God, I love watching that guy play. You and I have talked about this a lot over the course of the last few years. When it comes to players, unique players in their prime, we have been blessed. When you've got MacKinnon and Makar playing on the same team, and you've got Nikola Jokic playing, across the aisle from those guys, and I mean, what a remarkable time that we have had watching guys at the tops of their profession in the city of Denver.
Let me throw this out at you. So you have a 3-time MVP, should have won it last year,
right?
In Jokic,
right?
MacKinnon just recently won, the MVP, and Pat Surtain's the Defensive Player of the Year,
right? And then Makar's won the Norris, right?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. We always bring up MacKinnon first, but it's really Makar.
You're right. I mean,
MacKinnon is a great player. Don't get me wrong. But if you were a new team and you could pick any player off the Avalanche, you're taking Makar.
Every general manager in the league would probably make that move. And that has nothing to do with what Nate brings to the table.
Not at all.
It's the unicorn that Cale Makar is, right? As a defender and as an offensive defender. I mean, he's just, it's really good stuff. So come on, Bo Nix, pull yourself into that realm. Come on, you can do it. Hey, you've got a coach that's saying you're going to be a top 5 quarterback within 2 years. I'm counting on that.
Really?
I'm counting on it.
Are you? So you're going to take Sean at his word?
Okay,
wait. If you're counting on it, and it doesn't happen, does that what does that say about Sean Payton? A, in his judgment, but B, I don't know. I'll just go with A. What does it say about his judgment if he's not?
I will say 2 years can be a lifetime for a quarterback in this league in terms of maintaining your health and your development.
Here, let me ask you something.
Sure.
When he said the next 2 years, was he including this year? I think he would be.
I
He
would
said it
think
before the
so.
season.
So this year and next year,
And he's not off to a good
Right.
start now.
no, he's not.
Nope.
Got a lot of time to square that out. But no, in terms of what you had hoped for, he's not off to a good start.
Right. That's
I
going to do
agree.
it for us. Hot Takes Goodman and Haertl. Make it the best possible day you can.